Hi, this is Paulo from Chupan Games, and continuing our criteria course, we will expand our ability and skill checks to have opposite checks against enemies. We will add an input field here. Fix it. So we throw. Then we'll have a select enemies here. Okay. You already know this. This means that these fields are optional depending on what the user will choose here. We have another input field here for the enemy ability. Okay, let's test this. Ability check. No, if it's a fixed DC. Okay, oh, it's a typo. And okay, the odds are here. Fixed DC and not fixed DC. We have an enemy ability. Good. Let's create a variable for clarification. Fixed DC, not DC value. Fixed DC is true. Then I will have this value. Okay. Now we have the false here. We need something like this, but instead of the actor, we need the enemy here. Of course, we will need another role for the enemy, but our role is an info, remember? Because it involves advantage, disadvantage, and so on. Looking at our D20 role, we have an actor input for the role, and now we need an enemy input. I decided to duplicate this info because it will be more simpler, and you can't use the same input node twice in a single action step. We'll just create an enemy D20 role, and here okay, so this has the return value and the parameter reason, which is a text. Reason, enemy odds. We need an out parameter here. Okay. Yes, just like the other, and let's use it here. I have now moved the enemy input roll dice to the enemy area, and now we have the enemy D20 roll call here in the merged infos. Let's review this. We have the ability, we have the actor proficiency, everything we already done, but now we have the fixed DC question, which is a boolean, and that question leads us either to choose enemies or to input an value. And if we choose enemies, we will get the enemy role here in the info enemy role. These infos has themselves questions for advantage, disadvantage, and so on. We created a var called opposite difficulty class, which will be the difficulty class if it's fixed or not, the total enemy ability here, okay, and with proficiency if needed. And now we have just a simple condition. If one is greater than the other, we will show results here. It's very important to keep things in their correct enemy and actor statuses. For instance, this is enemy thing, this is an enemy ability modifier, and these enemies things here, they are used for the journals also. They are important here. For instance, journal enemy here. If you don't put an enemy in this journal, this journal will appear in the actor section. I think that's it. Let's test it. Now we are back to our map, and we will do and start with some tests. A simple test. Okay, we'll start simple. An STR test, a fixed STR test for 12. So it will be a standard test. So 1 dice, we should roll. Okay, it's a 6, we fail. Here 6, okay, plus 2, 8, fail. Good. Let's put this. And now we will test against the werewolves. So my strength, my dex against the werewolf's strength. Okay, but I will have advantage. So I will roll 2 dices. Okay, 13 and 6, it should be 13. And the enemies will roll normal dice. Okay, 7 and 1, I should pass. So, Conorian dex check, an advantage. 13 from 13 and 6 plus 1 dex. Okay, dex check. 14. Werewolf is a standard text. 3 rolled 1 and rolled 7, 9. So I passed both. Success. Okay, let's do a more complex one. I will choose this 2. And you say, okay, will be strength checks versus dexterity checks, and the heroes have advantage. And now we need to check, chose enemies, we chose both enemies, so accept. We roll 4 dices, 2 for each character. Criteria handles this. Disadvantage for the enemies, again it will be 4 dice. Okay, and now we have Conorian has rolled 1 and 3, got the 2, it's a 5 even with advantage. Okay, and Shania gets a 19, it's a 20. Werewolves changes, rolled 6 plus 1, 7, and 8 plus 1, 9. The werewolves are rolling dex here. Dex. Great. And here we are rolling STR. Okay, I think that's it.